Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome. I'm on here. Yeah, I'm on here. Welcome. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Can y'all hear that music? Tell me if you can hear it or not. Hey mom, how are you? Love you. Come on in the room, y'all. Y'all know I'm not only on Facebook, but I had this idea and I just figured I think it was a good idea. And so we're gonna try this out today. Anyway, welcome. If you're new to this show, this is Conversations from Paris, and I am none other than Paris. Welcome. I am so grateful for you to be here today. If you are not subscribed on YouTube, please make sure you're subscribed. Subscribe, like, and share this with somebody, because first thing you'll say is, well, I don't know if I want to see it. Well, you don't know that, but I'm telling you that you're going to want to, and then you're going to wish that you shared it with somebody. So you might as well share it now, because you don't know who you could be helping. Sometimes it's as simple as sharing something that you learned that's helped you out, right? So that can be beneficial. I'm going to, hold on. I'm not even sure if you guys can hear that. So you guys hear me? Okay. So I would like you guys to go ahead and share while I'm sharing. I've already shared already, but I'm excited about this live because I just think it's like, when I get these cool ideas in my head, I'm like, I feel like it's necessary for me to share them with you, because conversations are all about connections, right? And you can't connect the rhetoric that we're using, if you can't connect the ideas, if you can't connect the strategies, then I've kind of lost you, right? And my goal is never to speak above your head, nor is my goal to ever speak at you, nor is my goal to ever leave you out the conversation. Like I told y'all, I don't know if y'all thought I was bored. And this is why I do this live. Let me tell you something. Bored to be, oh, what's going on Saturday night? I get up at midnight or something and do something. Bored is not, y'all. This April, oh my goodness, this April will be 2 years. Yikes. I've been doing this thing. Oh my God, I started April 2020 with the pandemic. Wow. So I've been doing this thing for 2 years now almost. Wow, I didn't even realize that. See, this show is very live because you don't realize what I didn't realize. I kind of did remember, but I kind of forgot. So I just remind myself that that's, wow, it's been 2 years. So you don't do something like this consistently for 2 years if it's not something that you believe in, it's your passion. So I wanted to definitely come on today. Hold on. I didn't know I was supposed to be doing something. I knew it was something. I knew it was something. Y'all see me? Sorry, it is, daylight savings time happened on this past Sunday, and I'm always surprised when it gets much darker in the daytime when I wake up, and then when it's much lighter at night. So I'm excited about that. I've just been having to adjust. It is so bright where I'm at right now, and I'm used to it getting about dark right about now. So hopefully you guys can see me. Hopefully I'm not too dark because of all the light that's coming. It's a lot of natural light. So it's like I'm not able to control it as much as I would like. But that's okay. That's why I did it back towards this window here. I just switched my setup. So there are windows around me. I'll show y'all one day. And so that's my kitchen back there. So, I know you probably like, Paris, what are we talking about today? And why is it such a big deal? And why are you making it such a big deal? Well, I mean, I told y'all I have ideas often. So my thing is, I had this idea when we had the change of time, right? And when we had the change of time, the idea that came up was, what do we do normally around this time of year? Like, we're preparing ourselves mentally, physically for spring. What does that mean? Especially when you're somewhere where the seasons change. It's like almost like a clearing out season, right? Especially when you've been cooped up in a cold house, in your jackets, the house doors have been closed tight. Everything seems a bit stuffy. Everything seems a bit antiquated. Everything seems a bit just stale, And so spring cleaning denotes the beginning of a procedure that is ushering out the old and bringing in the new. Again, ushering out the old and bringing in the new. So oftentimes when people think about spring cleaning, they are taking, and this is what spring break came from, right? Like, now we do spring break so differently, right, than our ancestors used to do it. Back in the day, the mothers of the household, or whoever the caregivers were taking the winter clothes and fall clothes and putting them up, right? And storing those away. They were removing the heavy blankets and things from the home, putting them away, and exchanging that for the spring and summer clothes. Exchanging that for the lighter bedding, right? Because in the spring and summertime, you don't necessarily need the heavier bedding, you need the lighter bedding. So when it gets warm, you're not overheating. And then usually, if you have a nice enough day, you see people that they take their rugs out and they shake them out. They open the doors to let sunlight in, and they start to clean the vents, right? They start to clean the vents, and they start to clean they start to clean the vents, and they start to clean out the dust. Their job in that moment is to really attack the staleness that's settled in the house, right? And so when we talk about spring cleaning, I think that everybody agrees that it's a really good habit to have. I don't think everybody does it. It might not be in your regimen, but it's definitely something that we can all agree is a necessity. So when I started thinking about spring cleaning, because last week was my son's spring break, and actually this week is my spring break, and I'm like, I still have to work, so it's not really a spring break for me, but for my son it was. And I'm like, what was the, besides getting a break, what was the need behind it? And then doing some research, it was definitely about the spring cleaning. And so you're in the spring cleaning, and I said, that's amazing. You should do spring cleaning with your home. And y'all know I'm already always trying to think of something that's a spin for me. And so then I thought about it. I said, what better thing to clean up than your mental health and your past? You like, Paris, oh my God, you spend everything into mental health. Listen, stick with me here. Y'all know I've been on a series about trauma lately. And the reason I have been is because, again, I believe there's so much miseducation about what trauma is. There's so much miseducation about acknowledging that you had trauma means that you're a victim. Not true. And it's so much miseducation about how deep your trauma has to be to qualify, right? It's almost like this competition the world puts up for, oh, well, this happened to me. Well, I know you thought that happened to you, but this happened to me. And it's like, there doesn't have to be a competition. Literally, my job in bringing up the trauma is for you to understand, let's address it. Let's process it. Let's understand the roots that are coming from it. And then let's start the process of healing so we can clean that stuff out. Because the reality is if you don't address it, that old, I don't know if I want to call it a folk's tale or whatever it is, but that saying people say, well, time will heal all wounds. That is not true. I'm sorry, I just spilled that myth on the other day when I came on. Hey, Mama Pat, that is not true. Time does not heal all wounds. I'm tired of people saying that. It's not true. It's not true. And it sounds good and it sounds pretty and it sounds, I understand what they were trying to say, but it's just not true. If you go ahead and you have a wound that you don't deal with, I promise you will be infected. And if it's so bad, you'll have to get that piece of your body amputated. So no, time does not heal all wounds. Some wounds are great enough. Some wounds are big enough that if you don't deal with them, they will infect and spread through your body. Like what? Like a cancer. That's what it sounds like, right? Spreading through your body. You don't want that. And so just as you would tell somebody, oh, I need to do spring cleaning. I need to make sure my house is not dusty. It's not dirty. I need to make sure that I have the appropriate clothes here. It wouldn't make sense for me to have our heavy, some winter clothes out here when it's now about to be a warmer time of the year. And while I would agree with that, I'm just going to shift your mind a little bit and say that if your house and your wardrobe and your closet is worthy of getting a cleaning and is worthy of you ushering out the old to bring in the new, then why are you not worthy of that? Yes, it's a worth issue. I know you like Paris. Here we go here. Yes, it's a worth issue. Why is it a worth issue? Because if you had as much self-love as you proclaim to have, therapists wouldn't have to beg people to come in. People wouldn't have to beg you to communicate. I wouldn't have to work so hard to talk to people about mental health without them really kind of cutting it off like, oh, I got enough. I know what I'm doing now. That's almost the biggest fear that I have is that you only get enough to know the keywords, but it's all surface level and you don't allow it to penetrate. So there's no application. Let me say that again. My fear is that with social media, is that you can Google all these words, you can see these little memes, and it's cute and one, but you can repeat the key phrases, you can repeat the key words, but they're all surface level. You're not allowing them to penetrate you, not to penetrate your heart, not to penetrate your mind. You're not applying it because it's sitting right on the surface because you didn't actually drill down and do the work. So yes, that's what we're talking about. I had this thought and I'm like, the sun is out, the days are longer, I'm excited. It really puts me in the mood to get out and do some walking. I do want to pack away some of the winter clothes I have and start to bring out some of the summer things. And I'm excited about doing some outdoor activities, all these things. And with that, it ushers in the thought process that not only is this a good idea, but I'd rather say it's a necessity. Have you ever walked into someone's home and you can tell they had not done a thorough cleaning in a while? It's kind of dusty. They had the curtains drawn. It's kind of dark. There's not a whole lot of bright colors in there. Seems a bit drab. And it's not to say that person is a dirty person. It just means that they did not prepare for the transition at hand, right? And again, to me, this is mostly for people. First of all, what I'm talking about is everybody, but I'm talking about, if we're talking about the housing thing, it's mostly for people that are in places that the seasons dramatically change, right? Like, 4 seasons. And because it's no way that you can kind of allow, you not open the window up to get some air in, right? There's going to be some type of transition, even if it's minor. It is necessary to really to do justice to the home that you're in, right? You're like, Paris, are you saying that if somebody doesn't do spring cleaning, their home is not nice? I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, let me speak from experience. I remember when I was in the dorms and when I was first 20, and I was just not be careful with my words. I wasn't the biggest girly girl, right? I didn't consider myself like some people love to decorate. That wasn't me. I felt like it was incredibly time consuming and it was temporal. Listen, I used to be overly logical. And I used to be like, well, what's the point of putting these things up and taking them right back down? It didn't make sense to me. It just seemed like a whole lot of extra work and not enough payoff to me because those things were not appeasing to me. And so at the time, it was very plain, really didn't do a lot of extra. I didn't do seasonal things. I didn't do any spring cleaning. Like literally, I was just like, oh, exchange this bin for that bin. It was nothing that was methodical about it, right? And so the funny part is, as I got older, I think the things that we care about shifts. Hey, Auntie Nisi, I love you. I think the things that we care about, they shift. And I don't think it happens in one big, okay, today I wake up and I no longer like this and I like this now. It is subtle. And it takes you being self-aware or you kind of being observant to realize that those things are changing and to allow those changes, right? Change is not bad. Change is be constant. And I think that's the easiest way for me to say it is because, again, I didn't used to want to do all of that stuff. But you want to hear something funny? Oh, I don't have any right now. I just threw them out. Anyway, I was going to show you what flowers I have. I was never a flowers girl back in the day. Never, never, never. I thought it was a waste of money, waste of time and energy. I said, don't give me no dear flowers. That's so unnecessary. Don't make a fuss over me. Well, I find that I like flowers now. I think they're beautiful. I worked for a flower company back when I was like 24, I think I was 24. And I would watch people call in and actually order these beautiful bouquets, and they would tell you what the occasion is that they were ordering for. And it was just always amazing to me how many people ordered these things just because. And they were like, oh, I thought of my wife today. She did such a great thing this weekend with the kids. So I figured I would send her some flowers. And I was just always like, oh, like it was so cute to me. But past the reasoning, it was also the intentionality behind it, right? It was even what flowers they chose. It was even, thank you for sharing, Auntie Nisi. It wasn't even that they chose flowers, it was which ones they chose. Someone will say orchids are her favorite flower, or someone would say, hey, I want to send my friend yellow roses because yellow mean this. And I was just like, wow, that's amazing that somebody puts that level of intentionality behind something. And as now somebody that enjoys flowers, I see the bigger picture. Instead of me thinking it's a waste to have them, I enjoy the beauty of them. I enjoy the everything from the texture of the flower to the color of the flower. I enjoy the smell of them. I enjoy. I really like bouquets that are arranged. That's my joint. That really is. I don't know if I have that much creativity inside of me to do something like that. However, I enjoy the whole process of it. And so I always said to somebody, if they were able to get me something like that, to me, I don't even really care what it looks like. It's the intentionality behind it, right? Why am I going on and on about this? Because my needs changed. You see what I'm saying? Something I thought was not worth it before, I realized that I do like it. So not only do I would love to receive flowers, I actually buy them for myself. Why? Because I enjoy seeing them. I enjoy it. Something I would never do when I was younger is go to a botanical garden. It's one here I just found out about. I am going as soon as I can. I'm excited about that. Who would ever thought Paris would go to a botanical garden? Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because something about the blooming flowers. I used to have in front of my house a bush that had flowers on it that would bloom every spring, and when they would come out, it was just so magical to me, so beautiful, and it just always signified the start of something new. So, yes, spring is a signification of something new, and just because you didn't like something in the past season doesn't mean that you won't like it in the new season. So y'all go with me a little bit. Let me read this comment. Mama Pat said, I like the analogy with spring cleaning and allowing spring cleaning for your mental health. Yeah, and I'm not trying to be I make everything about mental health, but it's really, if you will spend the time, I mean, you know how it used to be, Mama Pat, people would spend whole weeks, sometimes a couple weeks, cleaning out their house, cleaning out through the clothes, switching everything out. And I remember I asked somebody, I said, why is this such a big deal? And they were like, well, you got to get rid of the old stuff to make room for the new. I was like, whoa, you got to get rid of the old to make room for the new. Some stuff you pack away and keep. But like, I didn't used to understand, even when I started like gardening, that's another thing. I didn't understand the difference between perennials and annuals. Like, y'all, that's a whole thing. I don't really go into it because I learned so much having my first home. And understanding that, why would I keep planting something I'm going to have to plant again next year? I didn't understand it. But if you know anything about it, it's because the color and the beauty in the ones that you have to plant every year, I think those are called the annuals. They're so gorgeous. It gives you like this excitement. You get to go pick out new ones and you get to kind of decorate your home from outside in. And so you really get to create this vision of what you want, right? And before I used to be like, no, I'm just gonna get something I can plant one time and be there forever. But usually they're green and not too, they don't have a lot of variety to it. And so, that's like, to me, an analogy of like the spice of life, being able to make a choice and pull it in. I'm gonna pull it back in, y'all. Just let me, because I know somebody's like, Paris is ranting. I'm really not on a rant. I'm really not on a tangent. I needed to really give you a visual, so then when I make the analogy, I'm not just doing something, okay? Because I know y'all be talking about me, but that's okay. Because I love y'all. It don't even matter. Auntie Nisa, you said that's why I love spring, because it signifies new beginnings. Absolutely. And you said it makes your eyes dance with the happiness at the beauty. That's a beautiful analogy. I love that. You said it makes your eyes dance with the happiness at the beauty. That's gorgeous. And that's the thing about it. Like, everything feels new. I wanted to sit on my balcony today. So I said what I was going to do was give me some chairs to sit on my balcony. But anyway, so why am I talking about this in this platform, in this moment right now? Because I want you guys to understand that if your home deserves that type of care, and a lot of times, let's be honest, people do gardening, people do this type of thing, cleaning, and that is part of their self-care, because they want their space to be cleaned out. They want it to be brightened up. Like, I've heard people say, open some windows, open some doors, let some light in, Go ahead and change some colors up. I put a pop of color here and there, put some flowers on the table. It really does change your whole mindset, your mentality, having a change of view. So mind you, imagine what that can do in your home. Imagine what it would be like for you to put that much energy into your mental health. Imagine what it would be like for you, like we've been talking about trauma. There is such a fear of letting the cat out the bag that people would rather sit around wounded and silently hurt than actually to live a healed life. Let me say that again. There's so much shame and fear about acknowledging a past trauma that some people would rather silently suffer than get some help to heal. And this is no condemnation, this is no judgment. This is what I've observed, right? Most people don't even understand how trauma absolutely eats at you from the inside out. And I don't like to go this deep, but I'm going to go this deep, especially understanding when that stuff gets into your body, it literally is going to turn into physical illness. It is not a game, y'all. We are all in a position and place where we are supposed to really respect our temples and really be better at our body. And I don't care what anybody say. You can go to the gym every day. You can eat well. But if you don't handle that stress, and if you don't handle that unresolved trauma, if you don't handle that, those alone are a silent killer. I'm not trying to scare you because it's not going to help me to scare you. I am saying it though because I think that we think, oh, I can push it back and just pretend and dress it up and put some lipstick on it, put some nice cologne on it, and I look like I'm good. And I'm like, I'll post some pictures on Facebook. I'll tell everybody I'm doing this new regimen. But are you healing? Are you working on yourself? What self-investment are you doing for your healing? Because it's true. What you value is what you put time and energy and money into. That's reality. You can tell somebody who really values their home, they spend a lot of money on it. You can tell somebody that really values their car, they spend a lot of money on it. You could tell somebody that really values their appearance, they spend a lot of money on clothes and shoes. You could tell somebody who matters what their body looks like, they spend a lot of time at the gym. And I know some people say, well, no, that's not necessarily true. I don't necessarily go to the gym just to look good. Not that you have to. I'm just saying that's a benefit. But also, what's important to you, you invest in it. And my goal is to get you to understand what better investment is there than your mindset, your thought pattern, and your wholeness. What better investment is there into that? And when I say investment, I'm not necessarily meaning money. I'm saying sweat equity, the time, the energy, and money, right? Because at some point, if you hear anything about this, you're going to pursue something that might cost a little money. But again, if you would spend it on that $100 crab leg dinner, then I don't understand the problem with that. Or if you were to go spend it on going out of town to the Vegas trip, I don't understand the problem with that. And this is not saying you can't do any of those things. You spend the money how you want to. But the reality is you cannot not invest any time into your wholeness, into your mental health, and then wonder why you're suffering. Okay? I just watch a lot of people suffer and they take it as though this is just life. This is just what adulting is like. There's no way around it. You can't fix me. Nobody can fix me. And they've gotten to this point where they've kind of given up on themselves. I call them walking zombies. And they just believe that there's nothing that anybody can do to help them. Therefore, they're going to just sit and waddle in the dysfunction. The womb did them, right? Auntie Nisi, you said, yes, I do that every day, letting the sun in. It changes your disposition when you can see and feel the light and the sunshine. Listen, that's such a true statement. When I really give y'all the full testimony about everything that happened to me this last couple months, you'll see. But one of the many reasons why I'm down here is because I realize how important it is for me to have sunlight. Like, it's not just a desire, it's necessary for me, right? I think it's necessary for everybody, but for me specifically, I used to get to work when it was dark, and I believe when it's dark, and my house was particularly dark. And oh my God, I almost never got out because I was so busy. And I was extremely vitamin D deficient because I didn't have sun. Oh my God, when I started getting sun, that's why I like vacation so much. I go to sunny destinations. Never understood going somewhere that was sunny, but for me, it's necessary for me. So yes, it absolutely changes your disposition. But that's even what my intention here is. My intention is to shine a light on you. I want you to open the blinds. I want you to, when you think about the spring cleaning for your home, let's open the blinds on your life. Listen, don't be scared to go in the past. Listen, I know some of the stuff that we've been through, we say, parents, that's the past. I don't want to go back there. That was hard. You know, I don't have to go back there. I'm healed. I'm better now. I'm good. I let that stuff go. I'm not sitting here trying to make you relive anything. However, I have reasonable proof to believe that there's a considerable amount of people who have not even started the journey of looking back. It's not the same thing as when you with your family and y'all reminisce. Y'all remember that time that Poo-Poo got in trouble and mama got him and she chased him around the block and he got in trouble and we all saw him get a whooping? Like, that's a story and that's cool that y'all can remember that, but that's not dealing with it. Does it make sense? Sometimes we get reminiscing or the fact that we had some pain in a season where we were very low, maybe in a moment of situational depression, and we think because we moved past that and we feel better now, or we feel better than we did, that thing is over, that thing is done. And I'm here to let you know, if you didn't really look at it and go back and really work through and process that thing, you have no idea how it really affected you. And again, this is not me trying to make everybody I feel like I'm like a broken record sometimes when I say this, but again, I want to say, I'm not trying to tell you something's wrong with you if you don't believe something's wrong. What I am saying is something's wrong with all of us, right? We all have had trauma. Remember I told you that? If you don't believe you had trauma, let me just tell you out. The pandemic was a traumatic event. Period. And we fresh off of that. Matter of fact, people, we still on it, really, to be honest. We fresh off the pandemic. Everybody knows somebody that they lost. Everybody knows somebody who probably got it. They probably got it, you know? You probably experienced it. I know a lot of people that still dealing with residual health things because of it. I know people who fight for their life to this day about it. I know people who have lost jobs, lost relatives, lost their homes because of the job market. It's been a whole lot. And so for you not to believe that this pandemic was a traumatic event, again, I'm challenging your definition of what trauma is like. I'll go another step. This war that's happening right now, if you don't think war whether or not it's happening on U.S. ground or not. If you don't think war is traumatic, then again, I challenge you to the idea of not maybe knowing or understanding what trauma is. And I'm not making you feel like you're crazy or stupid because of you don't know it. I'm saying that the notion that we disqualify if we need the help because we think we already know what it is, it happens all too much. People won't even hear the sentence out because they're like, oh, that's not my issue. I don't hold on to things. I don't do that. I did a ebook that was called Using Self-Care to Heal from the Pain of the Pandemic, the residual effect of the pandemic. The reason I did that is because I think that, again, we don't understand the pieces of us that were left behind. Just because you feel like you're whole, you're working, and you're grateful, and I know we're grateful, we all suffered on some level, whether it was mentally, emotionally, physically, we suffered on some level. And to not acknowledge that, to not acknowledge it, it doesn't go away. It does not just go away. You have to process that stuff. It has to be processed out. Things don't just fall off of you. I don't know why people think that. Oh, it's not like your hair, and you're like, oh, your hair, and the longest piece of your hair that's been the oldest piece of your hair is gonna fall off eventually, and it just be the dead end, and so it's just gonna eventually grow out. That's not how trauma works. It doesn't. I'm sorry. That's not how experiences work. They don't just fall off. You know, they don't just. I wish they did. I wish that bad things fell off your life and you never think about them again. They never show up again. They never show up in your relationships. They never show up in your self-esteem. They never show up in your love language. They never show up in your aspirations and your purpose and your passion. I wish that was true, because it'll make life much easier, right? We wouldn't be here bleeding all over everybody. We wouldn't be here in a situation where, and here's some truth here. We wouldn't be in situations where everybody else is watching us bleed out over the place, but they don't want to say anything to us because they don't want to offend us. And I know I just said something there. One thing I had to learn a while ago, and I know it's the hardest thing with talking about this stuff, is that until somebody's ready to go on this journey or to acknowledge what happened or what they've been through, there's nothing you could do to force them to that, right? That you literally would be trying to pull somebody along, and that's not how this works at all. This has to be a willing junction. Like, this has to be something that you sign up for. Like, before the money comes out your account, that's not even talking. I'm talking about the idea of it is you need your signature on the contract, because there is a requirement that you show up. You show up for yourself every single day. You show up for yourself every single day along the journey, because it's not going to be easy. I'm not going to sit here and lie and promise you that it's going to be easy. It's not. It's not. But I will say this, it's necessary. And I do believe that process pushes promotion. I'm going to say that again. I do believe that process pushes promotion. So I do believe that some people are not getting where they want to or they need to be in life because they have not done the process. They have not continued it. And there's some things that need to be matured in their attitude, in their personhood. There's some things that need to be learned, relearned. There's some things that need to be forgotten. There's some things that need to be forgiven. There's some things that need to be realized in their journey. And they can't be promoted to the next level until they get that. Y'all know how back in the day in school, they used to fail kids, or on the other side, they would actually skip kids, right? So they would skip kids that mastered the next level. They're like, okay, you don't even need to go up there, go to another grade because you've excelled what we would teach you at that level. But you don't see as much of that. You see the opposite. You see that a lot of kids sometimes fail and they can't push them along. Well, the way it was supposed to be was that if you didn't learn the required lessons that were going to help you to succeed at the next level, then it would not make sense to push you along. And I know sometimes in the school now, I don't want to talk about school, but it seems as though they're pushing kids along anyway. And I think that's just hurting them because now they're going to the next level unprepared and it's setting them up for failure even more. But that's the same thing that happens in life. You don't deal with something where you're at, but yet you're trying to go to the next level. You didn't master this level. And so you have people, and it's going to sound harsh, but they've looked on other people's paper. They've cheated. They've took shortcuts. They've just kind of shimmied their way through the system. We all know somebody that graduated 8th grade, graduated high school. We're like, how? They can barely read. And this is no judgment. They can barely do math on I'm talking about, when I say barely, I'm talking about 2-digit subtractions, the whole thing for them that's I don't know about that. And I don't blame them per se. I don't put it all on them. I put it more so on the system that failed them. But they, at some point in their life, they're going to have to take responsibility for now learning. There was a structured way of learning that you had to do when you were younger. But now, let's say some kind of way you got all the way through high school and it's you still don't know that stuff. It is not your responsibility to learn it because you're not going to go far without the foundational basic things that you need, right? Why am I talking about that? Because honestly, it's the same thing. Have y'all met somebody that they had a trauma point? They were young. And if you really got to the deep of it, you realize that if y'all don't know, there's a such thing called arrested development. And let me tell y'all what that is. It means that's when you get stuck emotionally at the last age of your trauma. So of a significant trauma event. For example, I'll just throw something out there. If you were a young boy and your dad was killed in front of you, you were 12. I'd say that's very traumatic. If you don't get the help that you need, there's a big chance that you get stuck right there at that 12-year-old boy. And although you grow up physically, you do not mature emotionally. You might get smarter mentally, but you're still stuck. Because there was not a level of mastery at that age in that area. And in that area, we're talking about your emotional self. And who would expect a 12-year-old to know what to do with those feelings? Who would expect that 12-year-old to understand how to process what he just saw? Nobody would expect them to. The hope is that 12-year-old some kind of way was put into therapy, some type of grief support group, that they had a great support system, and that as they grew up, they went through therapy to kind of work through the residual effects of losing a key parental figure in their life, witnessing it. And even, y'all know it's a such thing as survivor's guilt. A lot of people deal with it. That, I watched that happen and I wish I was here instead of them. It becomes a whole thing. And so now that person might look grown to you. That person might be 30, 40, 50, 60. Heck, there are some people who never, this is the scary part, there are some people who have went to their grave with the traumatic thing that they never healed from. And they walked and lived this earth and lived the whole life battling a silent battle. Never really recovering from that first blow. Or it could be the second or third or fourth blow. They never really recovered. And so they walk around with this heaviness and this burden. And it's so sad for me to think. I mean, of course, we could listen to a lot of our ancestors, some of these tragic stories, but you don't necessarily have to even know somebody famous to know this. It's just all around us. We've all seen somebody. I mean, I hear it all the time. People die of heartbreak. People just never really heal from that traumatic episode. And some parts of them don't believe that healing is their portion. They don't believe they can have it. And the sad part about it is when you don't believe you can have it, you don't seek healing. And this is my purpose of talking about it. If you don't believe you can have it, you don't seek it. Auntie Nisa, you said that's so true, and sometimes that's where substance abuse happens. Absolutely. And I'm not sure if you saw my flyer about the trauma triage. When I first sent it out there, I said one of the symptoms of, if you don't know if you still have unresolved trauma, is, are you self-medicating? And I'm so glad you tapped onto that, because addiction and substance abuse, it's a disease. It really is a disease. I had to learn a lot about it. It's a disease, but there's people that fall to it much more easily because of the things that they've been through, because of the trauma that was never dealt with, because of the unresolved trauma. They are the top candidates for it, because guess what? I need to heal the pain. I need to heal this pain. And because me needing to heal the pain, I need to do whatever. Let me take this alcohol. Let me smoke this weed. Let me smoke these drugs. Let me take these pills. And y'all, those are not the only things. I mean, people use all types of stuff for addiction. Sex is addicted. People are addicted to sex. People are addicted to food. People self-medicate with all things. But yeah, substance abuse for sure is a sign that you have unresolved trauma in your life that you were not taught how to live with. And don't feel bad. And this is not something dogging your parents. This is not something dogging your family. People take that stuff too personally. It has nothing to do with that. The average person is not taught how to deal with trauma correctly. Let's just put it out there. We are not taught how to deal with it. So instead of beating yourself up, and we're such in a world where, oh, I should know this already. Oh, I don't want to be a victim. I don't talk about my feelings. I keep that to myself. I don't need to let everybody in it. We're so busy sheltering, hiding, protecting ourselves that we won't say, no, I need help. Because no, I didn't heal from that thing that happened when I was 15. No, I didn't heal from that thing that happened with me and my friends when I was 21. No, I didn't heal from that relationship that I was in. Let's talk about it. I was in a relationship that was abusive, whether it was emotionally, mentally, physically, whatever it was, or it could be all of them. I didn't heal from that problem. And I know that. And I didn't heal from the fact, and again, sometimes we think all trauma has to be such a climatic event. But again, I'm gonna say it again. There's a trauma to growing up in a big family, in a poverty-stricken area. I'm sorry, nobody wants to hear that. If you were one of 15 kids, I know your parents loved you. I'm sure they did. But they could have not given you, and I'm not going to speak for everybody. It's possible that they were not able to give you everything that you needed. And it doesn't make them any less good parents. It just means that they weren't able to give you everything, because guess what? They're human. Heck, I got one child, and I know I didn't give him everything I needed. Thank God, but I know I didn't give him everything I needed. So people having multiple children, it's impossible to really believe that your kid will miss something out of it, right? And so that's a traumatic thing. Literally just growing up in a big family. That's trauma. Growing up in poverty. I don't care what y'all say. I don't care how, I didn't even know I was poor. I don't care what you say. It was trauma. And I can prove it. I'm not trying to make you feel bad about your childhood. I'm not trying to make you feel bad about your family. I'm trying to get you guys to heal. It doesn't matter if you're 16. It doesn't matter if you're 66. It doesn't matter if you're 106. Healing is possible. Healing is necessary. Things just do not heal over time. You have to work it. Don't process it. It's going to stay with you. And my thing is, let's start this process, okay? Let's start it. Um, Mom Pat, you said, yes, we try to hide our pain between substance or behavior. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, because we don't want to be vulnerable. We don't want people to see our stuff. So a lot of time people bark at the symptoms, but they don't understand what the root is under it. And so, I see through a lot of that sometimes. Even when I see people that's homeless on the street and they're like, oh, they just on drugs or they alcoholics. I'm like, you don't know their life. You don't know what life has dealt them. If you took the time to learn their story, you understand they're probably in a lot of pain, a lot of pain. And most of them are dealing with mental health issues because that unresolved trauma spiraled out of control. So yeah, that's really true. Denise, you said for the most part, our parents, meaning our generation, didn't have that information. Absolutely. And again, that's why I say I think sometimes people are so reluctant to go into this idea of healing because they're like, oh, I don't want to, act like my parents didn't give me everything they had. This is no indictment on their parents. But let me tell y'all something. If my son needs something from me, I'm going to put him in therapy because I'm not going to pretend like I gave him everything. If he needs something, I'm not going to be offended because he goes to get help for it. I'm not his God. I'm not in his mind. Who am I to tell him that? I mean, I might have intended to give him everything he needed, but I can't know if I did, if it's something that he didn't have or it's something he needs to heal from. By golly, I want him to get that healing. So it's not an indictment on our parents that they didn't know. You're right, they absolutely didn't have that information. But even though it happened to us, I say this all the time, it's your responsibility to heal. It might have happened to you, but it's your responsibility to heal, right? And that's the part that I just keep trying to say to people. Auntie Lisa, you said it's called hidden trauma. Yes. Hidden trauma, unresolved trauma, similar. And again, I think sometimes we wear trauma like it has to always be there. I think there's a way that you can process through your trauma. The traumatic event, yes, it always happened. But what I tell people is to process it takes the weight from off of it. Does that make sense? Yes, I have to hold. So let's pretend I don't have anything here. Let's pretend like this bowl is full of my trauma. And it's a heavy, heavy bowl. I'm just gonna pretend it's a heavy, heavy bowl. Oh my God, it's so heavy to carry. Oh my God, I've been carrying it all my life. Oh my God, my knees going bad because it's heavy. My back hurt because I'm carrying it so heavy. I mean, let's pretend like it's like a 50-pound weight. Oh my God, it's so heavy. What processing trauma looks like is not necessarily saying that you get to just put it down and it never happened. What I'm saying is that you take the weight off of it. So instead of it being a 50-pound weight in this, now it's 1 pound. And that's something I can carry. And now this is not something that interferes with my day-to-day life. This is not something that plagues me. This is not something that shows up and is a burden to carry. I hope that makes sense. So that's the goal here, is to say, how can we process that pain off, right? How can we process you through into your healing journey, right? Denise, you said you had to deal with your mother's illness and found out later that it had an effect on my life. Wow. Thank you for sharing that with us, Auntie Nisi, because I think a lot of people don't even realize that's such a good thing that you actually shared that. Taking care of a parent or somebody that's ill absolutely is traumatic. And it's not because of course you would do it 10 times over, but not understanding how it affects you, not understanding what it looks like for you to watch somebody you love be sick and get sicker and eventually die. No one can really quantify what that does to somebody. So I'm absolutely sure it actually did something to you, and I'm glad that you were able to figure that out eventually. Mama Pat, you said sometimes we don't realize we have hidden traumas into something triggers it. Absolutely, and that's what most people don't. And that's why my thing is there's no condemnation here to not understand you don't know why, but I want to get in front of it so that you don't find out when you go off. So many people have told me they've been on the verge of on mental breakdowns and or they've had them, or anxiety attacks or panic attacks, And my goal is to try to get in front of those things so we understand a little bit more. But even if we don't get in front of it, let's just be at a point where there's something might have happened, and maybe something I'm saying is resonating with you for you to realize now that you have these issues, right? These things have come up. Yeah, Auntie Nisa, you said I was traumatized because I was watching her have grand mal seizures, and making sure she didn't bite herself with no seizures. It definitely helped me. Yeah, no, that you said therapy definitely helped you. I'm so glad you said that. And see, this is what I'm glad you said that, Auntie Nisi, because a lot of people don't understand that watching that, being somebody that you love, it puts you in such a frame of mind that is very up and down. While you're glad you can be there for you, you're horrified at what you're seeing. You feel sorry. You have survivor's guilt. You're like, I wish, take me, don't take them. I wish I could have done more. You know, I didn't want to lose this person. And it's just all these complicated things that you're feeling, and most people aren't sure how to deal with those things. So that's why I talk about this, because I'm hoping that somebody can hear these stories and understand that, yeah, you too can get these help. You don't have to deal with this and suffer alone. You said that had to be difficult, especially something concerning your mom. Yeah, Mama Pat. I mean, I'm blessed to still be able to have my mom, so I have no idea what that's like. But I have definitely heard people's stories about what has happened to them and how hard it is. And I know people who have went through similar situations that don't see the trauma that's on their life. So y'all could tell that I will do this over and over again. Oh, Mama Pat, Auntie Nisi, that happened when you were 8, 10? That's such a young age to deal with that. Jesus. Yeah, that's such a young age. And this is important that we have these conversations, because again, people don't realize that yes, you would have done it 100 times over because that's your family, but you end up turning into a parental at a young age. You end up having to take care of your parent. And of course you would do it again, but it requires your brain in a certain way that causes you a lot of hidden trauma and stress that you don't even realize it. So yes, I'm so glad you went to therapy, Auntie Nisi. Oh my God, I'm so grateful. It's needed, you know. And so y'all know I can talk and talk. I just love that y'all are interacting with me. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Two of my favorite women. I appreciate y'all being open and transparent. And so I'm gonna just end it with reminding you guys of what I did share about. What I did share about my course that I'm doing. I announced on February 22nd that I was doing a trauma triage course. And the course is about healing from trauma. And the reason why I'm so extremely excited about it is because I just see the necessity for it. I just see too many people walking around here unhealed, and I want better for us. I want us to not think that we have to walk around like this. I don't think that there are people that are just necessarily choosing this. I think, like you said, Auntie Nisi and Mama Pat, that sometimes when you don't realize that you have it, you don't really think that it's a possibility to heal it, because you just think this is what it is. And so I'm here to remind you guys of just what it looks like. I'm going to share my screen really quick. Hold on. All right. So this is my course. I'm extremely excited about this course. It starts on Monday, March 21st. March is like, y'all, it's marching on. It's like, it's slipping past. I announced this on February 22nd. and I said that it's starting on March 31st. And so I feel that there's a need for this type of course. This course is going to be basically helping you understand what trauma really means, all the different types of trauma that there is. Identifying your own personal traumas. Like a lot of times people don't realize what their own trauma is and they can't move on because I can hear your story, but I can't really identify it in my life. I can help you with that. Determining the root issues that's causing your trauma to stick. I call them sticky roots, right? A lot of times we don't realize that there are pre-existing conditions that keep our trauma from staying longer than it needs to. One of them example is like rejection, right? And then lastly, how to start the healing process. I really personally think everybody needs this course, but the reality is it's not about me. It's literally about me hoping that people can see and be the best healed version of themselves today. It's a 6-week course and space is very limited because it's a very intimate, very, very intimate setting. So my goal is that you guys, you either sign up or if you know somebody, please share this with them. You know somebody like, hey, listen, not trying to be in your business, but I think this would be extremely helpful for you. And I know that it will help you move forward in life and do more what you want because it affects your relationships. It affects everything that you do. And so my goal is that we have these conversations and then again, these courses are next step. What do you want to do about it? Okay, let's get, if we're not ready to go to therapy, because let's be honest, everybody doesn't have accessibility into therapy, even though if y'all need therapy and I always tell y'all I have resources, just let me know. There are resources available. Just let me know. You can send me an inbox. But even if you don't think you're ready for therapy yet, this is definitely something that you can start with. Because again, your trauma is not going anywhere until you deal with it, until you process it, right? So if you guys need more information, that the actual website that it's on is www.parispjohnson.com. You can go to the shop area, you can sign up for it. If you need to do a payment plan, let me know ASAP because it is on Monday. And when I tell you when the class starts, it starts. I can't let anybody in after the class starts. I finished my emotional intelligence class and I have so many people as I started it, like, oh, can I come in? And I'm like, I'm sorry. It wouldn't be real fair for you to come in because you've missed so much. It's only 6 weeks. So much is packed in 6 weeks. I think it's not, but it really is. There's homework. There will be a reflective workbook and journal. I'm just excited about being able to help people process their pain, process trauma. And like I said, it's time to clean out the old so that you can step into the new. You're not going to be able to step into the next season of your life until you're able to deal with the old stuff. This is an investment in yourself. I promise you. Listen, y'all can go out there. Don't take my word. Go look for other places. You tell me if you get this value. It's not even about the value. It's about the idea of, do you want to heal? Are you important to yourself? And if so, let's go. Let's go. Let's get it done. I'm here to help. And so if you guys know somebody that needs it, please share that with them. All of it's on my website again, www.parispjohnson.com. So I love you guys. Thank you for, I went a little long today. Thank you for coming on with me. I'm just a bit passionate about this. We're going to be talking about this all week. I love you. I love you. You guys have a great evening. If you have any questions, inbox me. Again, share this with somebody that you know need it, or that maybe you don't know. Because a lot of people are not going to walk up to you and say, hey, I have unresolved trauma. They're not going to say that. So you just share it with somebody who might be the secret weapon that they needed, that they didn't know they needed. So I love you. Thank you so much. I'm sorry for reading this comment before I go. Mama Pat, you said as a reminder, when you seek therapy and counseling, you don't necessarily have to see the first person you find. Instead, shop for the individual that suits you. Such great advice. A lot of people give up because they're like, oh, this person is not the right one. Listen, y'all shop and go to more than one store when you're looking for the right shirt. So don't even keep looking. Don't give up. I understand it's hard and it's sometimes defeating, but don't give up. It's going to be so much better when you do it. You said, yes, you're offering a safe space for people to go get and find the help they need. Thank you, Mama Pat. I'm really trying. I really am trying. And you said the unexposed traumas have caused relationships to end. My God, and this is what I'm talking about. And I'll be talking about more of that when I come back on Thursday. I might come on tomorrow too. But that's the thing. People don't understand all the different ways it affects you. And relationships is the number one way. Everybody wants a relationship, but they don't understand that trauma is keeping them from having fulfilling relationships. Okay. Thank you. You said I'm offering a wonderful opportunity to help. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Love you too, Auntie Nisi. I really do. Thank you for coming on. And you said, love me right back. Keep talking. Listen, I'm going to keep talking because you told me not to be holding my breath. So I'm going to talk. As long as, God give me the words, I'm going to talk. As long as I see a need, I'm going to talk. So I love y'all. I'm going to get off of here now, though. I've been on it too long. Bye. And like I always say, you are enough. Never forget that. You're enough. You're worth this. You are worth healing for yourself, not for anybody else. Forget healing for anybody else. Heal for you. You are worth the peace. Heal for you. You are enough. Heal. You deserve it. Man, you're so beautiful. You deserve it. Heal for you.